A heartful welcome to all my viewers. This is Tushar BR. In this video, let us solve a problem statement based on array concept. Now, let us have a glance over our problem statement. Our problem statement is design, develop and implement a many-driven program in C for the following array operations. A. Creating an array of n integer elements, which means first define the size of array. B. Display of array elements with suitable heading, which means display the elements which are all in the array. Inserting an element at a given valid position means element should be added at a valid position where the element and position are defined by the user. D. Deleting an element at a given valid position means delete the element from the array from the valid position where the position is defined by the user. E. Exit. After all the operations, at last we have to exit from the program. This is our problem statement. Now let us know some basics about array. Array is a group of elements having same data type, which means all the elements will be of either int, char, float or double data type. But not all the elements of different data types are grouped and it is not said to be an array. Let us consider some examples and know what array is. In first example, we can see that all elements are of int data type, so we can tell that it is an array. Similarly, in second example, we can see that all the elements are of char data type, and in third example, all the elements are of float data type, so it is an array. But in fourth example, it is a combination of all data types, that is float, char and int, so it is not said to be an array. Now let us see how to declare and initialize an array. Declaration of array. The general syntax of declaration of array is data type, array name within square parenthesis, size and at last semicolon. Here data type can be int, float, char or double, and array name is a name of array, and size determine number of variables declared within an array. Initialization of array. Let us consider an example and understand how to initialize an array. For example, int marks 5 equal to 56, 67, 15, 98, 12 within flower parenthesis. Here 56, 67, 15, 19 and 12 are variables. Here int is data type which occupies 4 bytes of space for each variable. Therefore, here there are 5 variables, so 4 into 5 equals to 20 bytes of memory is allocated for complete array. Here in this picture we can see array representation. We can access variable in array using their index position, that if we write marks of 0, then it represents first variable 56, and if we write marks of 3, then it represents fourth variable 98. So this is how we declare and initialize array. As you can see that I have opened code blocks, which is an IDE to code C program files. First let us create an empty file. I will save it as code.c. You can give any name, but extension should be .c, which tells us that this is a C program files. First let us write header files to this program. Header files are the indication for compiler's preprocessor. Hash include stdlib.h. There are different type of header files like hash include string.h for string operation, math.h for mathematical operation. Next, global declaration. These are the variables that can be accessed inside any of the function defined for the program. Next, word main. Word main is a main function in the program and execution starts from this point. Within the flower parenthesis, we should write the function body. As per our problem statement, let us create different functions. Before that, let us know the general syntax of the function. Return type, function name, round brackets, within flower parenthesis function body. Return type means if you have to return integer value as an output of this function, then our return type would be int. If we have to return true or false, then our return type would be bool. If we have to return no value, then our return type would be void. Here, this is called commenting. This would not affect our code. This is just for understanding purpose. As per our problem statement, let us create different functions. Void create within parenthesis function body, void display within parenthesis function body. Similarly, void insert and void delete. Here I have used delete array as a function name instead of delete because delete is a keyword. Keywords are predefined reserved words that have special meaning to the compiler. Before writing function body for the respective functions, let us know what they actually mean. Now let us write the function body to create function. Before that, let us declare an array int a of 100. Here 100 is the size of array and a is an array name. To create an array, we should define size of array. So printf enter the number of elements within create function. At last semicolon. Let us consider number of elements as n. So let us declare n also. As n is also of int data type, we can write here only. As we should input the value of n from the user, therefore scanf within double inverted comma percentage d comma ampersand n at last semicolon. As n is of int data type, we should write percentage d. Now we have given value to n. Next we should enter the elements into array. So printf enter the elements at last semicolon. Here we cannot add all the elements at a time. We should add elements one by one. So I have used for loop here. For loop is an iteration statement for I equals to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. As you know that for loop is divided in three parts. I equals to 0 is an initialization, I less than n is a condition, I plus plus is an incrementation. Within flower parenthesis scanf within double inverted comma percentage d ampersand a of I at last semicolon. Here for loop runs until the condition I less than n become false. As the elements are defined by the user, so here we use scanf. Scanf is a function that allows the user to give the input. This is how we code into the create function. Void display function. Here we should display all the elements in the array. Printf the elements in the array are at last semicolon. Here we should print all the elements in the array one by one. Therefore I will use for loop for I equals to 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Within for loop printf within double inverted comma percentage d comma a of I at last semicolon. Here as the for loop runs, we print the elements from 0 position to n minus 1 position. This is how we code into display function. Void insert function. Here we should insert an element in a valid position. Before that, let us declare element and position pos, ele. In insert function, within insert function body, we should write printf the element to be inserted. Scanf percentage d because element is of int data type comma ampersand ele at last semicolon. Similarly printf enter the position at last semicolon. Scanf here we should scan the position percentage d comma ampersand pos at last semicolon. Next if condition. If position is greater than or equal to 0 and position is less than or equal to n. Within if condition, first we should increase the size of n equals to n plus 1 semicolon, and we should run a for loop I equals to n, I is greater than position minus 1, I is greater than position minus 1, I minus minus. Within for loop, a of I equals to a of I minus 1, semicolon. Once it get out of for loop, then we should insert an element that a of position minus 1 is equals to element, that is ELE. If condition become false, then we should write else statement. Printf insertion is unsuccessful. This is how we write function body for insert function. Void delete ARR of array. Here we should delete an element from the valid position. Therefore, printf enter the valid position at last semicolon and scanf. Next if condition. If position is greater than or equal to 0 and position is less than or equal to n. Within if condition, we should write for loop because we want to delete an element. For I equals to position minus 1, I less than n, I plus plus. As you can see that for loop is traversing from position minus 1 index to nth index. Now within for loop, a of I is equals to a of I plus 1, semicolon. After deleting the element from the valid position, last index of the array will be empty. So we should decrement it. Therefore, n equals to n minus 1. If condition become false, then we should write else part. Printf deletion is unsuccessful. This is how we write function body to delete ARR function. Before calling these functions, let us print different operations of our problem statement in void main. While printf array operations. Next, printf create an array. This is our first operation, therefore I will give as 1. Similarly, we should printf insert, delete, display and exit. All of these are our choices. So, next printf enter your choice. Here we should declare a variable called choice. As we have completed with our all variables declaration, we should terminate it. In void main scanf %d has choice is also of int data type. At last semicolon. Next we should use switch statement. Switch statement is a statement that will switch to different cases according to our choice. Case 1. If our choice is 1, then it will go to create function. Next case 2. Similarly, if our choice is 2, then it will go to insert function. Similarly, delete, display and exit functions. Here I have used break because break is a statement that terminates the execution of loop in which it is written, and exit is a function which terminates the execution of the program itself. Exit function is defined under stdlib.h header file. I have written complete code now. Before compiling it, let's have a quick check of our code. Here I have not terminated printf statement. I will terminate it. I have written choice spelling wrong, and I have initialized I, but I have not declared it. I will declare it. This completes our program. Now let us run it. First I will minimize this window. Here you can see a button build and run. You click on it to run our program. Now as you can see that output screen has been appeared, which means there is no error. Now it is asking enter your choice. Here 1 to 5 are our choices. I will press 1 so that I will create an array first. Enter the number of elements. I will enter 5. The elements are. It is asking again enter your choice. Now I will enter 2 so that I will insert an element in an array. Enter the element to be inserted. I will insert 20 in second position. Now I will display so that you will get to know where the element has been inserted. Here you can see that 20 is been inserted in second position. Now I will delete the element, so I will enter my choice as 3 and enter the valid position. I will enter it as 6. Here I will display now. You will see that 70 element will be disappeared. See, the last element is 60. Now I will insert an element again. I will insert 50 element in 5th position. Now I will display. You will see that 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 and at last 60. See, you will see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Now I will delete again. So I will enter my choice 3. Valid position I will enter 1. You can see that 10 element will be missing. I will display now. See, only there are 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 elements. At last I will exit. So I will press 5. Here you can see that process returned 0, which means you have exited from the program. Note: in some IDEs it will show error during compilation if you initialize functions but if you don't declare them. So let us declare all the functions before void main. Void create function, void insert function, similarly void delete ARR function and void display function. Here in code blocks, if we don't declare them also, it will compile. Now we have reached the end of this video. I hope it was informative. I thank you all for being till the end of this video. Please like, share, subscribe and support our channel for new updates. Have a great day.